The storm outside mirrored the chaos in his heart. Thunder cracked over the dark skyline of New York as Ethan Cole, the 38-year-old CEO of one of the city's most successful finance firms, stood alone in his dimly lit study. The world knew him as ruthless, brilliant, and untouchable. But tonight, as the rain tapped gently against the windows, he was nothing more than a grieving husband, haunted by the ghost of a woman he could never forget. It had been 2 years since his wife, Clara, passed away in a tragic car accident, yet her laughter still echoed in the empty halls of their home. He had avoided her things all this time, but something inside him, perhaps loneliness, perhaps guilt, made him reach for one of her old books on the shelf that night. When he opened it, a folded piece of paper fluttered out and landed softly on the floor. He picked it up with trembling hands. It was her handwriting. Faded ink, gentle loops, the scent of her old perfume still clinging faintly to the page. "If you ever find this, Ethan, it means you're finally ready. There's something I never told you. Go to the small cafe on Maple Street. Ask for Anna." His breath caught. Who was Anna? Why had Clara written this before she died? The note was dated 3 weeks before the accident that took her life before he could even say goodbye. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected connections, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Silent Hope. Your support helps us share more stories that touch the heart. Ethan barely slept that night. By morning, he was sitting in his sleek black car, parked across from a small, run-down cafe at the edge of the city. The kind of place Clara would have loved, simple, quiet, filled with the scent of fresh bread and coffee. He walked inside, his expensive shoes tapping softly on the tiled floor. Behind the counter stood a woman, maybe in her late 20s, with tired eyes but a kind smile. She wore a faded apron, her dark hair tied back, and her hands trembled slightly as she poured coffee for an old man. Her name tag read Anna. When she finally looked up, their eyes met, and something unexplainable passed between them, a strange familiarity, a quiet pull. "Can I help you, sir?" she asked softly, wiping her hands on a towel. Ethan swallowed, unsure what to say. I was told to find you," he managed. "My wife, Clara Cole, she mentioned you in a letter." The woman froze, color draining from her face. Her lips parted slightly as if she wanted to speak but couldn't. After a moment, she nodded and said, "We should talk. Please, wait until after closing." Hours passed slowly as Ethan sat in a corner, watching her work. Every movement was careful, every word gentle. She smiled at every customer, even when exhaustion shadowed her face. There was something about her that reminded him of Clara's compassion, something deeply human, quietly strong. When the cafe finally emptied, Anna sat across from him, clutching a worn envelope. "Clara was my friend," she began. "But more than that, she was my savior." Her voice shook as she spoke. 3 years ago, I was homeless. My husband had left me with nothing but a baby girl. I was living in a shelter, working nights just to buy formula. One evening, Clara came in. She talked to me like I mattered. She found out my story and helped me get this cafe job. She even paid the first 3 months of rent for my apartment without telling anyone. She said someone once gave her a second chance, and it was her turn to pass it on. Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. He had never known this side of Clara. The woman he loved had always been kind, but this? This was selfless love in action. Anna continued, "She told me about you, Ethan. She said you were a good man, but sometimes you forgot to see the beauty in small things. She wanted you to find me one day because she believed I could remind you of what really matters." Ethan leaned back, stunned. "She planned this?" he whispered. Anna nodded. "She said if you ever came here, it meant your heart was ready to feel again." For the first time in years, Ethan felt something stir deep within him, a warmth he thought had died with Clara. But guilt followed quickly after. "She was trying to save me even when I didn't deserve it," he murmured. Anna smiled softly. "Maybe she knew you'd find a way to save someone else, too." Over the next few weeks, Ethan found himself returning to the cafe every morning. At first, it was curiosity. He wanted to know more about Clara's final months, her secret acts of kindness, her unspoken dreams. But soon, it became something more. He began helping Anna fix the cafe's old coffee machine, repaint the walls, even bring new customers through his company's network. Little by little, he started to laugh again. He learned that Anna's daughter, Lily, was 7 years old, bright-eyed, full of questions, and always humming the same tune Clara used to hum in the kitchen. One evening, while Ethan was helping Lily with her homework, she looked up and said, "Mommy says you're sad because someone you love went to heaven. But she says she's still with you, just invisible." Ethan froze, blinking back tears. The child's innocence cut deeper than any words could. As winter arrived, the cafe flourished. Ethan secretly covered the cost of renovations, insisting Anna accept it as an investment, not charity. But she always gave something back: fresh coffee delivered to his office every morning, a simple "thank you" note on each cup. Somewhere between those mornings and quiet evenings, a fragile friendship blossomed into something deeper, though neither dared to name it. One night, after closing, they sat together watching the snow fall outside. Anna turned to him, her voice low. "Do you ever think Clara brought us together?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Every day." There was a silence between them, gentle, unspoken, healing. But peace never lasts easily. A few weeks later, Anna's cafe was hit with sudden debt after a supplier raised prices. She tried to handle it alone, refusing Ethan's help. "I can't let you save me again," she said tearfully. "I need to stand on my own." Ethan respected that, but when he saw her skipping meals just to feed Lily, something inside him broke. He couldn't lose another person he cared about to the cruelty of life. So, he made a choice. Without telling her, he sold one of his company's properties and used the profit to clear her debts anonymously. When she found out, she was furious, accusing him of pitying her. "You don't understand what it's like to struggle," she cried. "You have everything." Ethan's voice cracked as he replied, "I had everything, Anna. Then I lost it. Money can't buy peace. But maybe it can buy you a chance to keep your dream alive. Please don't hate me for wanting to help." That night, Anna wept, not from anger, but from realization. She saw the man behind the title, the pain behind the success. Slowly, forgiveness turned into gratitude, and gratitude into quiet affection. Months passed. The cafe became a community haven, warm, busy, filled with laughter. Ethan found himself spending weekends there, no longer the cold CEO but a man rediscovering life. He'd read Lily's stories by the fireplace while Anna worked behind the counter, her eyes softening every time she looked at him. Then one spring evening, Ethan found another letter, this time hidden in his old desk drawer. It was from Clara again. "If you're reading this, Ethan, I know you found Anna. I wanted you to meet her, not to replace me, but to remind you that love doesn't die, it transforms. You can honor me not by mourning, but by living, by loving again." He read it over and over, tears streaming down his face. That night, he drove straight to the cafe. Anna was cleaning up, her apron dusted with flour. Without a word, he handed her the letter. She read it slowly, her eyes shining. When she looked up, neither spoke. They didn't need to. Sometimes love doesn't begin with fireworks, it begins with understanding, with shared silence, with healing. Over time, Ethan, Anna, and Lily became inseparable. He never tried to replace Clara in his heart, but he realized love was not meant to be locked away, it was meant to grow, to spread, to heal. Anna taught him that strength often hides behind the quietest smiles, and Lily reminded him that hope could live even in the smallest hearts. Years later, the cafe expanded into a foundation, the Clara Hope Project, supporting single parents in need. Anna ran it with grace, and Ethan funded it silently from behind the scenes. Every year, on Clara's birthday, they placed a single white rose on the counter and whispered their thanks, for the letter that changed everything, for the love that bridged grief and grace, for the second chances life had given them. And sometimes, when the rain fell just right, Ethan would stand by the window, hear Lily's laughter echoing through the cafe, and feel a warmth on his shoulder, as if Clara herself were there, smiling through the storm she once left behind. Because in the end, it wasn't just a letter that led him to Anna. It was love, unseen, unwavering, eternal. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Silent Hope. Your support helps us continue spreading stories of love, loss, and second chances. Speech balloon. Before you go, tell us in the comments, do you believe people can find new beginnings even after great loss?